Hi, everybody. My name is Wilder Cruz, and I want to welcome you all to the Wilder Cruz podcast. Here we're going to talk about a lot of things like prison reform, helping the youth, work on getting some construction trainings. That way, we can also get them jobs and everything, and get them out of the streets for all our people. You know, we've been stuck in a rut, this rap music and all this other things. Though I love it and everything, I can believe me, I love it. It's basically teaching us how to kill each other. And guys, we gotta wake up, man. We're losing our youth. All the dads are in prison, and these kids are out here being reckless, killing each other for nothing. They're going to prison for nothing. Murder charges, lives are lost. A lot of time is lost in prisons, and families are destroyed. So we gotta get that changed up. Also, prison reform is another thing. You know, it's if you've never been to prison, it's not a really cool place to be, and they're very limited on funds and everything that they provide. You know, I mean, think about it. In Texas, where I served my time, in this day and time, they don't have air conditioning in these units, and they're like 120 degrees, and everybody's breaking out in heat rashes all over the place. You know what I mean? It's just, people fuck up. I understand that, and I'm going to be using that kind of language, and hope it doesn't offend anybody, but people people fuck up, and they do their time. And how much hell does it have to be? That's one of the things that a lot of people really have to pay attention to when you think about people who get locked up. You know what I mean? It's the same place for a murderer, a child molester, and somebody who committed fraud. They're all in the same spot. You gather a bunch of men, and there's a lot of politics in there as well that we'll get into sometime. But yeah, we can make it a lot better. People should be getting way more educated, so they don't become, repeat offenders, and prevent that recidivism. I can't even pronounce the word, but recidivism. I love conspiracy theories. I mean, all of them. Right now, I'm all over Tartaria and how all these buildings were used with electromagnetic engineering and using the energy from the earth, and they had flying machines and trains, and they had all these zeppelins and all these light towers, and people used to go up the light towers, 1,000 people at a time, get on one of those zeppelins and fly around the world and just recharge in midair at another lighthouse. And that's why they've been destroying all those lighthouses, and these cathedrals are used for energy as well. But a lot of these places and towers, they just slap a clock on them and just say it's a clock tower. A lot of these buildings have windows that are all the way on the floor of where the building begins, which means if you dug deeper, then the building keeps going. These buildings were already there. I think we've been lied to about our history. If you look back in the 1800s and the early 1900s, these people were flying all over the place, had great structures, they had world fairs all over the world with incubator babies and all kinds of things, and then destroyed it. Just like the Egyptians and all the Indians claim that they build these pyramids. Let's get off of that fucking bullshit, because if any of these guys were building these pyramids and they were that smart, knew how far the sun was, they knew pi, they knew all kinds of things that, you really have to have like a lot of knowledge. But if they were so smart, then why the hell were they, throwing women into a damn volcano so it could rain? So let's just wake up. We've been lied to. The whole history is bullshit. School has been a waste of time, but a complete program to make us stupid. We're capable of a lot more. If you look at history in the buildings and the technology that we've had, it's there. You've heard about Atlantis, you heard about Tartaria, you heard about the Nephilim giants, you heard about the great cities, you heard about the Vimanas, you heard about the Great Walls of China. You've heard all kinds of things that, look at us now. You know what I mean? We're still flying on planes and fucking up the cloud and poisoning ourselves with all this damn food and GMO. That's why they got, Kennedy to take care of all that stuff. All these burger places and all these burger joints, they don't have our best interest. The food is all fucked up. We're all getting sick. They're trying to force shots on us and all kinds of different things on us, and it makes you wonder why. I mean, if you don't, a lot of stuff like the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and Freemasons, and all that stuff, I'm into all of that stuff, so you'll be hearing a lot of content about all the stuff that I'm mentioning right now, and a lot of other topics. I'm also a two-time junior Olympic gold medal champion in Taekwondo, and I kickboxed, and I also boxed. Amateur, won the Golden Gloves in Texas. Kickbox, I went 13-1. MMA, I went 3-1. Boxing, I went 5-1. And so I just started at a late age. I didn't get to. Well, I started at an early age. UFC came around later, is the thing. That's really what it is. I was around in the time where if you wanted to learn how to wrestle, you had to wrestle. And if you had to go to a jiu-jitsu school, you go to a jiu-jitsu school. And if you have to learn boxing, you have to go to a boxing gym. You have to go learn Taekwondo. You learn Taekwondo at a Taekwondo spot. You want to learn Muay Thai, you go to a Muay Thai school, so on and so on. And so we didn't have the luxury back then of just walking into school and they know how to, chemically read your blood and work on your scientific weight loss and diet programs and have a trainer and have a cook and all the things and be able to just work out and learn all those styles in one building is, it's a big deal, you know what I mean? And UFC came a little bit later and I was already taking all the styles individually, even though I competed in mixed martial arts like that, and I still wish I could. I mean, I'd get in there right now if they gave me a chance. I'll be honest with you, I'd have to train my ass off. I'm about to be 53, but I feel still like a young man really when I'm in there, throwing hands or even boxing. I love boxing. That was my first passion. I always wanted to be a professional boxer ever since I was 3. I wanted my mom to buy me a Muhammad Ali doll when I was a little kid, and I told my mom, I don't know how I knew it as a 3-year-old, maybe because of, when you're a young baby or a young soul, as they say, you tend to be more pure and keep a lot of information possibly from an alternate life that you left before. So I do believe in reincarnation, and for some reason at 3-year-old, I was telling my mom I'm going to move to Texas and I'm going to become a professional fighter, and lo and behold, I was born and raised in New York. And I started martial arts while I was over there. I left when I was about 18, ran over here, tried out to be the Red Power Ranger and lost to my buddy Steve Cardenas, who got the part, but fortunately me and Steve eliminated everybody, and it was down to me and him, and he got the job because he was single and I had kids, and I ended up going to take his job as the instructor for Sidekicks Martial Arts in McKinney, Texas. And then we franchised the school from McKinney, Texas to Plano, Texas. Then we had another school in Richardson, and then later on it was sold as a franchise to a good friend of mine at the time. His name is John Ryan. He runs a great school. He has his kids have been there, and a lot of people. He's made a lot of good black belt champions, and he has a really good jiu-jitsu system with our instructor who trains out of the Carlos Machado jiu-jitsu school, and his name is Herman Chung. Great instructor. My first jiu-jitsu instructor. Love the guy. He's great knowledge and very technical, and all these guys work together and at Sidekicks, and they have a really good little fight school right now. They are located in the Little Elm area, and they're also located in the Carrollton area, and they've been there for quite some time. It's a great school if you guys want to learn some mixed martial arts. These guys actually go to Kansas and all kinds of different places and take the kids to actually compete mixed martial arts as amateurs and get fights in there. So it's great to see all that stuff evolving for the younger kids to be able to compete and later on possibly become future UFC fighters. So I love all that stuff. I was really based out of Texas. A lot of guys out there, great fighters, started off in the North Dallas Boxing Club with Walt Mason and all these crazy guys out there, and Guy Mesger and the Lions Den, and all these guys were out there at the time. We had a few boxers. There was a white boy, man. He's a bad boy. I love that guy. His name is Glenn Lunsford. Glenn Lunsford, and yeah, I believe he ended up going to prison because he fought. A guy was hurting someone, a female, and he basically beat him to death with his hands. And let me tell you, I boxed with that guy, and he was a pro. He was pro for a long time, and it wasn't about flash footwork. This guy put his forehead on your chest and rock your lights out. He hit like a damn truck. I remember I used to fight a bunch of heavyweights back there with Mighty Mike Williams, who fought Mike Tyson and ended up coming out in that movie with Rocky IV, I believe, or Rocky V. He was Union Kane, the guy that Tommy Morrison beat for the belt before he started fighting with Rocky. We had a real good team up there up in Plano, Texas. We took about 15 people and came back with like 14 champions and won the trophy for the team with the most wins at the Golden Gloves in the early 90s. So I was very proud of that because I trained a lot of the guys, but I also competed and won, and then started kickboxing all over the place, and the USACA and the USADA that they had up there with Walt Mason and a couple of other guys like Garcia up in McKinney. And throughout the whole time I met a bunch of guys. There's James Becker, who runs a bunch of different schools out there, and I forgot, I want to say it was USA Martial Arts that he started it off, but I don't recall what he changed the name to now, but I believe he has a couple of schools out there. Great guy. If you ever guys get a chance, check him out. I've been up to Moeller Jiu-Jitsu, and those guys are great. I've been up there to box on their fight nights and things like that because it was really far from me, from where I was living, but if I was closer, I definitely would have been in there with all those guys because it's, in Texas, I got to say, we have a lot of great instructors, like there's a Shelby, I believe, back in the days with Taekwondo point guys, a bunch of point guys back in the days in the beginning, but after that it started evolving into all the other guys that we know, like Saxon Jinjira up in Plano, great Muay Thai instructor, love the guy, and he also has very, very good boxing and has had a lot of good fighters come out of that camp, like Pete Spratt and Anthony and Chidi and Jacquewani. Then we have Ryan Benoit as well. So, a lot of guys, they all know each other around here. You got Samson, who also recently had surgery and everything like that. So everybody, please visit his page. He has a GoFundMe to try to get himself back. He's been competing in the game for a long, long, long time. Got some injuries, and we got to take care of each other. We're a great martial arts community in Texas, and prayers to him and his family for speedy recovery so he can get back on there and pass that knowledge that he's gained. Also, Marcus Hicks. Marcus Hicks is one of the first guys when I started doing MMA who I ran into, and man, this guy, I laugh now, boy, that guy back then is built like a tank. He just look at you and he looked like he wanted to eat you alive, And so I went and trained with him a few times, and at the time he was fighting at the ECW before the UFC and all that stuff, and he had a few knockouts out there, man, and I've seen him fight a couple of boxing matches. Great, man, this guy could really thump. And also I have to give shout out to my very good friend Felipe Espinoza, who runs the Texas Gladiator team out of, I believe, up in Mesquite or Garland area right now. And he's always been out there training young guys and trying to put the spirit of the martial arts in them and take them out there and get them ready to see if they really want to do it, because he pushes you really hard with a lot of cardio and a lot of working out. Always has boxing rings and camps, and always invites everybody to have sparring days. That way we can see where we're at, really measuring, because you get tired of just sparring each other and trying to be kind to each other. But it's nice to always, get together with other martial arts that respect and they're not trying to just lay you out and show up. We're all here to learn, because, all the real fighting is done in the cage or in the ring. And so I met so many really good martial artists throughout all of Texas. let's see, Buddy Hudson, another guy. I believe he has the Texas Black Belt Academy up in Prosper and up in Salina area and also in Plano, Texas. So definitely check him out because he's a really good guy, and they got a really good team as well. So moving on from martial arts, guys. I guess this is my first video. I just got the camera, just got the podcast, just got all this stuff. I'm over here talking. I didn't even have my mic on, so you might not even hear anything I said this whole time. But here we go.